Welcome to a failed stream start, to say the least. Now, a few moments ago I just said, damn, it's hot in here, and it wasn't hot in here 5 minutes ago. So that's why that rust flew off. And I was speaking about new camera position. I just wanted to try how natural light worked. It didn't, so that's why this went down. Kind of bummed now that I start the stream without any sound whatsoever. Anyway, such is life. But yes, the reason the analog stereo was switched over to line was because I've been recording music of this. It's an Arduino Duo. Put a little program on that. Oh, quite big actually. Quite big RAM handling at this point, but it essentially receives either single or double byte data through serial, and has 32 polytonal capability over the DAC port. And yesterday I implemented 4 delay lines, which is just over half the sample frequency long, so it's exactly half a second long, and there's 4 of them, and each of them is half the length of the one before it. So first delay loop is half a second, then a quarter, and then so on. And I can't be bothered to do the math to say the rest. What did my phone say? Let's get to work here. Let's restructure the code. Oh yeah, by the way, the music, we might actually want to listen to that, since otherwise it's so quiet in here. What did I say? No PP, only NR.mp3. Yeah, no post-processing, only noise reduction. Yeah, kind of fucked up that name, but kind of not want to like kill you with this sound, but I'm probably gonna kill myself, so let's pull that down. I'll just hope for the best. There we go. I don't know how loud this is. Really. This is just MIDIs I found playing through this, as I said, with software delay line directly on the ship. Woo! It really adds, like, you should have heard it before I added the delay. It was quite like old school. Yeah. And even before that, when I didn't have proper square waves, I just had clicks. You could make out the low frequencies if they were only low frequencies, but if they were low frequencies and high frequencies, the high frequency clicks superseded the low frequency clicks, so all of the bass disappeared. But yeah, then I moved to pure square waves, and I'm thinking of actually putting a sample in there, like a saw wave or just a pre-computed sample, maybe work from there, but I don't think I have much memory left for that, to be honest. This is all game MIDI files, by the way. Also, we get this out of here and we look here at my web browser, we can see I have quite a bit more stuff tabbed, just random programs. I mean, this obviously has working CPU, so it's written in Go, and what is Go? I don't know. What? M65 Go 2. CPU.go. What? Okay, I'm probably misunderstanding the Go function definitions quite a fucking lot here. Well, I know what language I will not be learning in quite some time. What the fuck is that? I don't get what the colon equals versus equals shit is about. But yeah, this music file, this is 1 hour 33 minutes. Mostly Chrono Trigger, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, just random old SNES and Nintendo 64 games. There's one more in there I forgot the name of. But I'm planning to add like a shit ton of MIDI files. And potentially... That isn't quite loud, really. I mean, looking at the bars there, I should be audible over the thing. And it should be audible over me when I'm quiet, so I guess it's fine. Please forward your complaints to my inbox. If I should lower or higher the volume. Yeah. Plan is to add crap ton of MIDI files from a bunch of different games and just have this thing always be running in the background, just pumping music whenever we're streaming, just to give some sort of background, sort of unique background music that people can't be like. Nice. This part right here is interesting. Wait, what? The fuck was that all about? Wait, what? The question, do you want to define it as this nice compact piece of arithmetic that will decide whatever addressing mode you're doing depending on opcodes and certain bits in the opcode? But it's arithmetic that you need to run with every opcode, so I'd rather just have a lookup table for that. Oh yeah, this is actually kinda intuitive. Because now I understand this acronym. It's read modify write addressing, and then you have ALU addressing, and then you have control addressing. That's quite loud. Yeah. Actually, I think it's fine. Yeah, I'll survive. So, you might see something different. There's nothing here. You're quite right. There's literally nothing here except for imports and definitions. And look, a definition of a NES. Wait, can you read that? You can't read that for shit, can you? You can't read that for shit. Let's rectify that somewhat. Somehow. Preferences. Settings? What the fuck? Oh yeah. Fuck off. View? RIP. Font. Larger, smaller. Control and equal. You shitting me? They ain't shitting me. Is that as large as it will get? What? I don't know if you can hear, but I'm hitting the keyboard and it's not doing it. Like, can I just reset and it will reset up? Asshole. Nope, just nope. Hell yeah. Jesus, I feel like someone gave me a retina driver and confused my screen. Jesus. It is smooth though. How does it look for you? Passable. Yeah, get it? Pass. Yes. Here is the NES. Also, where's this? Pepe, I'm now in compliance. Supposedly. I don't think I am though. This? Oh, what? Why? I like my tabs. Well, that's a form of cancer. Thank you. At least Sublime Text gives you a nice little thing down here for converting into spaces or tabs, or you can change the tab width manually. Also, I defined, I think I'm gonna define most of the bus is gonna be defined in the NES because, duh. And just by chance, I thought putting the memory on the NES, in the NES class, suits, because the motherboard holds the RAM, not the processor directly. It's not like today's integrated stuff. So, yeah. I might create a new class just called RAM, but why? Why? Yeah, I don't see a reason to. Anyway. RAM is in NES because simplicity, and then the PPU, APU, cartridge and CPU can just do, well, the parent that called it can actually do NES dot whatever helper function, or bus read or bus write. So whenever any of the peripherals want to interact with the bus, they must call through the NES. Make sense? I think it does. Also, I might wanna search something on NES. 6502 frame timing. The frame and non-maskable interrupts. Also, this song that you're hearing right now, I don't know if the rhythmical high tones are supposed to be drums. I don't think so, because the script I'm using is supposed to disable channel 9, also known as channel 10 to most people, which is where the drums usually do. Usually. I'm gonna sneeze. Because I've said it now and now I won't. It's just kind of funny how that works. It's kinda intuitive, but it does, however, mean I need the cycle checking thing. Darn it. Maybe I'll do it like this. The address modes can inherently compute how many cycles it will take, because the only difference in cycles between the different addressing modes, and I think it's the same for each address mode, regardless of function. I might be lying on my ass when I say that. Let's see here. Well, that kind of fucks up. The function needs to know how many cycles it takes, and then the address mode needs to compute whether or not a cycle should be added. That doesn't imply too much changes, actually. I'm quite happy about that. But we can't do those changes yet, because all of our code is still in this fucking mess of a file. But we're here because we're copy maniacs today. We're basically gonna take what's in here some other file, question mark? no. Yeah, the opcodes file. And we're gonna dump it into all of these different small files. And then we'll get it working, and by then it's gonna be 6 hours later. So prepare for the long haul. We're at least prepared. If you're here like 1 or 2 days after, where you can just look at what's it called, the search or search. You know what I mean. You can just look up how long the video is, and then you'll know if this was a 6-hour marathon or not. But whilst we're doing this change, we're gonna do some quite major architecture restructuring. Everything that doesn't need to go through the bus won't go through the bus because the bus is fucking slow. Yeah. Accessing everything in the processor via a bus is retarded, in hindsight. Which is why we're gonna change that. However, stuff like the RAM and the PPU and the APU still needs to have a bus to talk to, because that's how the architecture of the NES works. But theoretically, this should be named like motherboard. But I'm just gonna call it NES. Damn cables in the way. But yes, where do we start? PPU? I'm wondering if I should make a bus class. Is it the same bus? It must be the same bus, mustn't it? Otherwise that'd be retarded. Mm. Yeah, it must be the same. So I was wrong in defining this bus map here. I guess. But wait, does this mean that if I start this old emulator and actually fill the pattern table 0 and name table? What the hell? Aren't there 2 pattern tables? Yeah, there's a typo here. What the hell? Okay. So. How RAM? Palette RAM. All of this is just RAM, isn't it? No. What? The PPU address is a 16 kilobyte space 023 FFFF, completely separate from the CPU's address bus. It is either directly accessed by the PPU itself or via the CPU, with memory map registers at 2006 and 2007. The NES has 2 kilobytes of RAM dedicated to the PPU, normally mapped to the main table address space from 2002 FFF. This can be rerouted through custom cartridge wiring. In addition, the PPU internally contains 2 blah 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 OAM. Oh yeah, I need support for mappers as well, so I need to create a general mapper file. Wait, what did I change? Oh yeah, that's... But how does it read? How does the PPU read the data it needs from the cartridge via a separate bus? Actually, it makes fucking sense. Oh, Jesus, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know why? Because the PPU is basically working 90% of the time, and that would leave like 10, no less, but it would leave very little bus time for the CPU, which is retarded since the system is built to run the CPU whilst the PPU is drawing an image. Now, I won't have any of... I could just put it all on the same address bus. That's probably retarded. Let's not do that. But what I'm thinking of for the CPU cycle stepping is that I'll run the CPU for one instruction, and then it will return how many cycles it took, and then I will step the PPU 3 times that amount. Seems viable? And then I frame cap it to 60. Somehow. Yeah, when the even frame thing changes, probably. Why am I not working? Jesus. I'm just putting off moving all this code, I'm sorry. I'm sorry! Okay, let's move the CPU first, because that's the most horrible thing. Yo, processor! I heard you had a bus map. That's really not gonna be useful anymore. Fucking shit. That's not what I wanted to do. Ooh, I am so sorry. This drink is getting to me or something. So all of these need to be rewritten to reference the NES bus. So this piece of shit bus. It's the same, but with a bunch of shit commented out. The order is what I'll be worrying least about because it's the easiest basically. Even easier than the PPU, I believe. And then it ends. I instinctively look over at the board to check if it crashed at the end, because it sometimes it do. Oh yeah. Now cartridge, APU, NES, CPU, and PPU. Now we just need to rewire everything together again and change the architecture quite a bit to like exclude the bus as much as possible. Like inside, like when communication is within a file, it should not use the bus at all for fuck all reason. Like here in the... yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was gonna do. Just gonna remove that, copy that, same data, right. Let's remove the RAM. How should I self-reference back to the NES? Like .n? I guess. Sorry. There we go, now I'm passing the NES instance. And assigning it as N. Now, in old languages you would be questioning like, is that a reference or an actual copy? In Python you don't have to worry because it's always a copy unless it needs to be changed. Then depending on whether it's mutable or not, it will either change or create a new object and give you a reference to that. That's as close as I can come to explain the Python referencing assigned by blah blah thing to like 2 free sentences. That's as much as that's as low as I can go. 1 sentence, I don't think. So, unless you're a mathematician or something. Yeah, pass by silent. That was like, like, what the hell am I looking at? Then I realized what I'm looking at is now irrelevant, so I should close that. Let's rewrite run here to import NES. I think I'm gonna add like a run instruction. I will run it for 1 frame to the NES. NES. And this all needs to change. Now when we run this, we will get horrible weathers that will result in the world exploding and we're all gonna die. Let's run it. Horrible folder names. Amount of nestedness. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, bleed. Why? This is unacceptable. You know what I need to do? I need to create a new file and I need to save it as underscore init __.py. Save. Yeah, that will magic to work. It did. But there's another error. What?
Changing the name of the folder threw the whole editor out of whack. I think we're fine. Oh, NES should not take an S as argument. Lol. Forgot about that. Sys is not defined. What? Cart needs sys. Sys. Cart. Import sys. Sys. Why you Psycho-Bliet? I'm having trouble deciphering what the hell I'm looking at. Why do you need random? Ay. Over here. Over here. That should really just be a reference to that. And the funny thing, the way this is laid out is that you can nest them, which is fun. What was that, peeping? So self.nes.lam array, that will give it a random array. So we're not gonna turn on in a consistent state because A, this is the real world, right? Hopefully that's hopefully shit's gonna be okay once we yeah. And yes, that nesting does work. Listen to the whole thing. Why is it so silent? That worries me. I don't even. That sucks. What? Come on, you fucking... Oh my god, this is... Well, I'm just gonna let that MIDI play in the background. I know it does have music at the end. Question is, why is it so quiet? Whatever. Volume's horrible. So you get in volume. We need to move the bus stuff over to the NES. I know, I shouldn't sing. It's horrible. Now I don't need this clamping thing because the clamping is going to be inherent with the bus. And before it was only clamping for one fucking reason. To write the stack pointer, I think it was. Or it was, or maybe it was the program counter. It needed to be stored in one single number anyway. However, that brings up a question. Does the 6502 have access to its program counter? Like, does it know what the program counter is? It's a 16-bit thing, but can it eternally like push it into the stack or push it into the accumulator, or? I don't know what you could do with that, but probably some fancy magic. dynamically place code in RAM. Nah.
Sounds like a terrible idea if you ask me. Correct, sir. How did you know? I don't know. I just had a feeling.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry again. We don't see any issues with this. Now, I'm gonna check out how this buffer. No, wait. I think I can just figure this out a lot better if I just look at the NES motherboard. What the fuck? That's the. Will you give me PCB picture? Yes, here we go, with the AV box and shit. Oh, what the... What? Is this... Okay. So we have the 2A03, which is the CPU. And then we have the RP2CO2, which is the PPU, I think. And both of them seem to be directly hooked up to both the expansion port and the cartridge port, so the cartridge needs to interact with two buses, essentially. It uses... Okay, it's starting to fall together. There's a bit... It's a bit complicated, but essentially the NES has this address space separate from the CPU. And it needs to have it because that bus that the PPU is using is going at the pixel speed times the frame rate, so it's quite fucking fast. Then there's V-blanking frames in which the PPU does not interact with the bus, in which case you can, from the CPU, switch over and either put new data in, or yes, that's pretty much all you should do. You shouldn't really read anything out of there because it's not really work RAM. You shouldn't store memory in there. Unless you're desperate. I don't think you can read from there, to be honest. Anyway, you write into there if the PPU is hooked up with character RAM, I think it's called. Yes, character RAM. And then the CPU basically pulls information from the ROM, or generates information, and then in the VBlank cycle it basically stuffs that into the RAM available to the PPU, I think. But then, if you don't have a SHAR character RAM, but you have character ROM, you have pieces of registry. You'll have some values that somehow control how the PPU reads from that bus. And essentially all that changes is that instead of having a RAM chip that the CPU can poke in during the VBlank cycle and put data in, instead have a ROM chip, so you can't read from it and you can't write to it. So all you can do, I think, is interact with some other registers on the PPU to make it change what data it's pulling from the ROM and how it should scroll it and what should be where. And then you also have your 256 bytes of object attribute memory you can use. But I'm still very confused as to how people create. I mean, Super Mario 3, for example, it has that scroll down red piece of fabric with a border. How the fuck is that done? I obviously need more literature read about this stuff before I can safely say what I'm speaking about. But right now I don't understand shit. The console's 2 KB of onboard RAM may be used for tile maps and attributes on the NES board, and 8 KB of tile pattern ROM or RAM may be included on a cartridge. The system has an available color palette of 48 colors and 6 grays. Up to 25 simultaneous colors may be used without writing new values mid-frame. A background color, 4 sets of free tile colors and 4 sets of free sprite colors. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Hold on while I reread that. The NES palette is based on NTSC rather than RGB values. I'm gonna sneeze. And it was so close before I mentioned it too. Jesus, what the magic. The NES palette is based on the NTSC rather than RGB values. A total of 64 sprites may be displayed on screen at any given time without reloading sprites mid-screen. The standard display resolution of the NES is 256 horizontal pixels by 240. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here to get this thing actually just running. Oh yeah, boss read. That's a lie. Saving helps. NES has no instance run. Sorry. Def run. Okay. I'm already tired, what the fuck? What? How the fuck does this work? Whatever. More crap. Now, does Python support inline incrementation? I don't know what the fuck I'm searching anymore. Yeah, the. What? Okay, let's do the dumb thing. Increment while reference reference counting. What? Oh, it's empty. Let's see, let's open a Python prompter. A equals to B equals A plus equal 1, both invalid. Shit! I'm trying to find something, but where is it? I don't know if this is used, but not 2 is complement because plus 2. Lol. I don't think that's... maybe that's how it's supposed to work, whatever. Also, this addressing mode here, I need to rectify how that works. Addressing mode 5, relative. No. Oh!
It actually imported the... It actually got to the point of running. It tried to do a LDA, but then it failed because I haven't changed all of the opcodes yet. Fuck. Control F. X read. Find all. Fuck. Can I move all characters to the end of the line? Everything went a page down, I guess. And now they're almost aligned. Whatever. Well. I was afraid this was gonna happen. Luckily, the editor makes it easy for me to spot where it's obvious that shit doesn't belong. Sorry. This editor makes all of this so easy. That's why I keep using it.
This is going to be a lot of things, by the way. Every branch instruction interacts with the PC. It's in the actual CPU now. Now when I think about it, we don't need to know how long the instruction is in this. Because if I continue writing this in a way that allows for immediate action and not setup before action, so pro-action basically, with some things in here, I should be able to lost my train of thought. Partially because this music has been looping for I don't know how fucking long now. It's 3 minutes left. Yeah, why is it so long? God damn it. Wow. Oh, it ran once. What? It should loop. What? What? Shit. Oh no, not code it. Gosh darn it. However, I shall show you something. Really? So we have our NES instance, m.cpu, CPU instance. Now I shall show you the CPU memory. Why is it so blank? I was gonna show you that it was not gonna be blank, but it was blank. So I'm confused. Oh, because it's initialized blank. See, if I put a value in there, it puts that value in. Here's that definition, by the way. And basically the default value is a lambda that just returns a random integer, 0 to 255. And then it checks that if the variable is callable, if the value is callable like the lambda is, it's just going to put an execution of it instead of it into the array before creating a null array. So we should theoretically get random power on here. Yay! Random boot. Yay. Let's see how. I was gonna say bitwise random looks fine. Although padding it would make it easier to check, but whatever. Pretty sure it's uniquely bit random, even though it probably isn't because pseudo random is. The ROM's there. Yeah. Or I'm being stupid. Hold on there a second. Oh, it ain't stepping right. That's for sure. Oh, I know what the issue is. Hold on. I'll save us from this mess. If you just give me a little bit of quiet and time. My speaker's just turned off. Here's where the issue is. I read that tuples are mutable objects. So we'll see if we can pass mutable objects instead of the address. Oh, you fucking dick. God fuck damn it. I may have to create some sort of interaction object that sits between accumulator and the bus. So that when it's written, I wanted to move away from that. How the fuck is this gonna work? If the accumulator is part of the addressing, how the fuck am I gonna get it up away from the bus, which is the whole point of the addressing? Oh, I got them out. I mean, the 64 with 2 days, so well, it's a physical device that exists. Not just existed, but it still exists in quite a lot of forms. I need to think about this, but a tad moment. I'll be back in 10-15 minutes. Yeah. I need some air, it's hot in here. I also need to open the windows. Speaking of, the sun has probably gone down. It indeed has. So I can now... This connector here gets hot as balls for whatever reason. But yeah. I will see you, yes, in 15 minutes or so. Hello. That's not my real voice. I don't even know why I have this headset on me. There's no sound coming from it. But just in case. Yes. How does one integrate? I'm thinking of having some sort of function I think the answer I'm looking for is probably in this Go CPU I saw earlier with the different kind of addressing. Probably need to understand that before I can go any further. I'm expecting to see an accumulator addressing somewhere. I need to look at the load function. It's a bit hard to decipher what's going on here when there's a bunch of pointer magic going on. There are no Go had pointers. to look at the fetch instruction. Yeah, that's quite a lot. Suppose there as well, the glue logic happens. So the memory has its own fetch class. Maybe I should put the memory in its separate class, because it's gonna be more typing, but it's probably gonna help me. Memory, let's see how the memory is defined. Let's search for fetch. Here's fetch defined. So does this emulator do as I did before and define all of the relevant registers for the processor in damn it, lost my train of thought. Does it essentially have all of its registers in what I had before, like an array called registers, and then index that? So we're off to back and look at the CPU again. And it's defined as a struct. load gets hopefully the 6502 is so primitive yet so beautifully complex so that it cannot have functions that index accumulator and something else at the same time. So hopefully, well, what that entails is that hopefully every function is split into, of the functions I have, they should be split into two groups. One group which reads exclusively from memory to processor, and one group that reads exclusively from processor to memory. I don't know. Hold on, I'll be right back. Hello. Hello. What I said before was false because there are functions in the 6502 which are called RMV, read, modify, write, which by the name you can basically imply that they read from a location, modify, and then write back. Let's actually look that up. I'm not sure. Wow. Yeah, there's an increase and decrease. Those are read modifier bytes. And what do I do if I don't have the A on the bus and I want to increment the A with the same function here? Let's see how the Go emulator does it. The cat jumped out the window. Memory fetch. Let's use 6502 in increment accumulator, yeah. In some variants of the 6502, you cannot increment the accumulator using INA, increase accumulator, yeah. Then it's off to this site. Where we will search for opcodes. And for users, be aware, a can is about to be opened. Now, if we have an increment, if we have an INA, an INX, and an INY, and an equal decrement versions, I should be fine. We have our increase. We can increase X. We can increase Y. We cannot increase A. Let's search for NES 6502 INA, just to be sure. Increase accumulator. NES 6502 accumulator addressing. That is about cat just jumped down from the roof. Let's go back to here. So I do have to regard for the accumulator in the ASO, LSR, REOL, and REOR. REOL and ROL and ROR is roll left and roll right. ASL and LSR are no freaking clue. Automatic shift left. How does this thing do it? This is not the actual opcodes. Cheating bastards! They have a special function for the accumulator. Roll left. Accumulator addressing. So if I do that, I will find everyone else too. How does it know? I'm confused as all fuck here. instruction table. Oh, that's a waste of information. Oh, actually, it's better to have it pre-computed than calculated on the fly. Then you just need to decide, do the page cross? But it's literally the same, but +1. Okay, I'll nick these and these. What? Why would you add the string name? Like, for real. Huh. That's kind of disappointing. Because neither I nor someone else seem to know how to be able to abstract that actual number into the bus when it's needed, like this. It's a bit of a hack fix, but it works. I'd like to do the same. What's RP2C2? RP2C2. RP CO2. What is that? Oh, it's the PPU. Yeah, that's a broken PPU. Why is this on NES though? Oh. I don't know if you can hear that click or beep, but that's a bat. Chirping away, trying to echolocate. Do this again. This guy's doing ship level emulation. Fuck. Damn. Yeah, that's too involved for my liking. I mean, theoretically, if I got a data set of all the transistors and how they were hooked together in the 6502 and then the PPU, and then hooked them together and then somehow emulated all this shit, I would be done. But it would be so much more processing power, so that's kind of where you gotta draw the line. Are you gonna have perfect emulation, or are you gonna sacrifice some of that perfect by the book stepping and instead take a shortcut because you know it will 99.9% under normal conditions do that, but it's that 0.01% that people are like, oh, it's not legitimate enough. And yeah, I get it. Emulators are not the real deal. And yeah. Oh, here's that image again, so. The hell is this? Yeah. What I'll do is that I'll create some more functions. Wah, 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 wah. Fail copy position. Is there a fail copy X position as well? No, only the Y position can sometimes fail. Why? That's weird. Quirks of the PPU. Where is the... to A go free. That's the actual CPU. Wow. Tests. What is this? A serious production thing? That's the only time I'd expect to see tests. Hmm. I fucked up, but whatever. It goes. Is it 2A? Shit. Shit! Yes, 2A. 42. And that's gonna be implied from now on. Oh, that's immediate, isn't it? I'll keep it that way. Accumulator thing won't mean anything, I think. Six A. 106. Four A. 74. Zero A. 11 you say? No, 10. Oh. We haven't run this in a while, let's try. Shit! Stuck in the same shit. Guess we're stepping wrong. Why do we begin on C004? I am suspecting the cartridge. Sounds for X to A implied. And then mode 3. Why not mode 3? Yeah, because I'm still doing the incrementing off the hand. Psycha. Yeah, this will be repurposed so that functions that are ran, they're gonna return if they crossed, they're gonna return true if they crossed a page boundary instead. Then I'll use those two arrays and just switch between them and index with the opcode. It should be fine. Running further now. And not memory. Yay. Maybe we want to initialize it to like unknown state. Let's do that. By doing that. Simple. N.M. Mori. Nothing got pushed onto the stack. I still up before my voice breaks. Stack pointer is changing, that's good. Memory is changing, no. Let's check. Yeah, it's not P anymore, it's N. Doof. No tag at the stack pointer. Which means we have quite an issue, I'm afraid. Hold on, maybe this actually will work. No, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's loading the entirely wrong address, that much I can say. At this point, I basically feel like starting over. No. But it's a mess. But I don't want to start over. It's a mess, but I don't want to start over. No. Putting the code into different files was just a way to try and get shit up to working order again, but as we see, there's more than just structural code layout things that needs to be changed. There's actual architectural things that needs to be changed quite a bit. I do want to give up, but I don't want to give up. I want to give up, but I don't want to give up. What do I do? What do I do? Well, look, we've been live for 3 hours and 12 minutes. Soon to be 13. How much have we done during that time? Absolutely fucking nothing, and that's why I think we need to restart. It's those 4 functions that fuck it up so much. My life is in ruins as of now.
I do want to restart from the ground up, and I'm gonna classify the fucking shit out of it. Memory's gonna have its own class, motherboard's gonna have its own class, CPU, PPU, APU, all that shit's gonna have its own class. What's more gonna have its own class is probably the registers. The bus is gonna probably gonna have its own class. Or here comes the dreaded one. I change language to something like C++ or C. C++ you have classes. Or just C without classes. Things that a project like this doesn't need classes because everything's its own thing. You don't need you don't need like a twin of an object, but it's slightly different. Here everything is mostly there because of a single reason and one reason only, and that's to do one job and one job only, and not much more. So every piece in the NES is basically unique and has a unique task in that regard. You can't just bunch it up into classes, except you unless you make every single memory cell a class, but that's just idiotic and stupid. And hey, there's already a class for that. It is called an integer or any other type of number. But yeah, classifying the shit out of it is kind of the way I want to go, but it's unnecessary. Hell, part of me wants to scrap this whole fucking project. What is this? This emulator always has its last input of the opcode be the cycles, I guess, and then it has the optional first one, which is your registry, or address. Execute CPU for X amount of cycles, I guess.
This immediately sets the program counter to the reset vector. Maybe there's something I should do. This is not that long. Just the definitions, the shit to run it, the definitions of the registers, the IRQ and NMI and status register, and that's it. DPU.c, let's see what this monster contains. Let's just to determine on the bus where to go, where to put the data. It's funny because fix. Wait, that's the yeah. Yeah, I've seen like comments alluding to this that the picture processing unit is what's actually doing the spite collision detection, which is kind of awesome if you ask me, because that means your GPU is actively deciding what happens in your game. Although I'm probably wrong in that in some regard, since I'm just speaking out of my ass. Like most people. Run the background. Unit. Interesting. Okay. After looking through that, I think what I'll do is that I'll rewrite the whole thing. Shoot me, kind of. But I will not focus on classes. I will function. No, I will. Freudian slip there. I will focus on functions. So the CPU will be a class, the APU and PPU will be a class, but that's just to keep them in separate files and just have shit be a bit more contained. But basically what I'm alluding to here is that any sort of operation that the CPU, the emulated CPU, needs to do regularly should be a defined function with input and output parameters if possible. Because that means I have to write less duplicate code. Also, I have to implement mappers. Oh, I'm gonna start crying, for fuck's sake. Character ROM. Yeah, this is a good time to see how the character ROM is being read. Setting up mirroring, always mirroring. Probe. Area switch, bank switch. What the hell? It reads char ROM. Here's spike switching for the char ROM. Spike switching for the program ROM. That's about it. Well, I expect to see more references in here too. Or does it just like replace some of its own data? Is that what this does? Whatever. On ROM, let's see. Huh. Oh, what? So the cartridge starts at 8,000? Yes, I read that somewhere else, but the program ROM starts at C. 000. Rest assured, every time I touch this project I get more and more confused as to what the fuck I'm doing. If that isn't abundantly clear, then I don't know how else I can say it. But yeah. I said we were gonna be here until 3 AM, we're obviously not. I think I'm gonna leave now after just short of 3.5 hours. Sitting here and idly conversating and barely getting any work done. Yeah, I don't know what more to say. I'm kinda disappointed in myself, that's just it. I let myself go and I just started writing spaghetti code because I just wanted a working processor, and now I'm suffering quite a lot for it. Because it's spaghetti code, it's hard to edit, and it's easier to just restart at this moment. Yeah. Goodbye, and I'll see you next time when I'll hopefully restarted this piece of crap. Goodbye.